Oh, there you are, Odo. What kept you, my dear fellow? Hello, Mr. Sholmes, Gina. You sure about what you said in there? That the boss, actually died the day before? It's pretty hard to swallow. Yes, I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina. As was I, possibly more shocked than both of you. It's not a competition, Mr. Sholmes, but I was more shocked than all of you put together. This is the autopsy report in question, is it? Yes, it's strange that there's no time of death noted. I suppose there's a simple explanation, or perhaps it was a deliberate omission. Someone higher up, I swear, it must be Strongheart. He has been sus since day one. He looks evil as fuck, and he's all about the future, right? So maybe that's like him. Maybe this whole scheme is like him getting rid of like the old school. Although I don't know why he has to murder all these people or get someone else to murder all these people. Right? Like, it sounds like he just wants, I guess it's one of those things where it's like, I can see what he's trying to do. It's just the way he's going about it. Cause he's like, he loves his country so much, but then it's like, no, out with the old, in with the new. Maybe it was him, like he's trying to get rid of Van Zykes because he's like old school, and he's like, oh, now we have this new type of prosecutor or something like that, or whatever. Oh, that'd be so crazy. It's like it always ends up being a conspiracy of like someone in like the highest of high like positions or whatever, either of government or like the police or something. Just like the first game where it's like, it was like the police chief in that game that like, I forgot what he wanted to do, like what the motive was, but he did murder that guy like X amount of years before. If it was deliberate, it puts me in mind of the last case we worked on and Dr. Scythe. I know. Anyway, it seemed that on the day before Lord Van Zykes discovered his body, Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, so perhaps something happened with them. Come to think of it, you had trouble with those League men too, didn't you, Mr. Sholmes? You were taken in by their trick. No. Naturally, I wasn't taken in, as you put it. My sleuth hound interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. And that scent masked the underlying scent of deception, I suppose? The two criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, aren't they? If in Mr. Sholmes' suite, I mean? That's right, Suze, and it was me what took them in. Thanks to a tip-off by a good law-abiding citizen. Indeed, yours truly. So it's going to be that pair in the witness stand next, is it? Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. The day before Inspector Gregson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the Red-Headed League yet, had you? Why would the inspector have been investigating them? Well, the likely explanation would be that Gregson's own sleuthhound interest was piqued by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. Don't tar him with the same brush as you, Sholmes. Yes, well... Then there's the whole issue of Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Van Zykes for some reason. The Reaper, the Red-Headed League, Inspector Gregson, Lord Van Zykes. Unless the Reaper is like an actual murderer. Like he's like a fucking ninja or something who like kills people after they get acquitted, or if they get acquitted. I mean, I guess depending on like the status. Like if you prove to them beyond a reasonable doubt that this person did not commit this murder, like we did for the other people, like the scientist dude. Like, oh, we proved that it was somebody else without a reasonable doubt, so I guess he's okay. And then Soseki Natsume, he's also fine. He's just not coming back here because he's traumatized. I feel as though he knew we'd arrive at this point somehow. Gosh, I think you're right. What's he really trying to achieve here today? All the answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. This recess will be over shortly. Yeah, you're right. Cosmo was determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial, and he was determined that I should take the defense. Just what is it that he's hoping to make me see, I wonder? I get the feeling we're a long way from the end of this trial yet. Oh, don't say that. Are you ready then, Miss Usato? Yes. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare... Why am I giving him a southern accent? I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed court hearing of Barak Van Zeiss, here present, who stands accused of murder. Now then, Prosecutor Asogi, my lord. Have you summoned the witnesses as requested? Yes, the two members of the Red-Headed League who planned and carried out the deception. They arrived not long ago from the local prison by police carriage. Very good. Bailiff, usher the two men into the courtroom. These two men are currently being held by the police on suspicion of attempted extortion. You may omit your occupations, but state your names now for the court. I am Fabien de Rousseau, a descendant of the great de Rousseau family from Nice. Or maybe that's not how you say that, from Nice, in France. And my name is Peppino de Rossi. I am the third son of the great Familia de Rossi, the landowners from Napoli. The two men first became acquainted at a boarding school for European nobility. Those who graduate from Temsic are the future leaders of Europe. But, do you have any idea how boring it is to be born with noble blood? Alors, I make it my mission to get the better of the world by employing the little gray cells of my brain. That is all I'm trying to do, huh? So, that's the only reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying out? Oui, you could say that. Not bad, eh? He has the great ideals, but the petty plans. This strange combination is the charm of the hilarious brothers. Si, capo? Listen to me, Peppino. I have two things to say to you. Eh? Che? Are you about to tell me one of your grandy anecdotes? Evviva! Firstly, I want you to stop calling me this capo. And secondly, we are not the hilarious brothers. This is serious business. Che bello! There it is, the capo's trumpa card, the furrowed brow. It is deep, capo? The furrow and the meaning of your words. The court has been led to believe that under the banner of the Red-Headed League, you have conspired to swindle money from unsuspecting members of the public. Is this true? Oui, c'est ça. Or whatever. I'm sorry, I don't know French and I don't know Italian. And what exactly was the nature of this deception by which you planned to defraud? Alors, I will explain it. No, capo. Leave it to me. As you see, we both have the vivid red hair, no? At school, we were teased for this without pity. The capo here has many times behind... He was many times behind the schoolhouse crying like the Trevi fountain. Ooh, those dogs. One day the world will respect us red-heads. Every night he would bury his head in his pillow. C'est bien, Peppino. Enough. I will explain the rest. The first step was the newspaper advertisement. About 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London. Yes, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe, entitled To the Red-Headed League. Oui, c'est ça. I am honored that you have seen it. It states that the only condition for joining the league is having flame-colored hair. And if you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted into the league, you could receive a weekly income of £4. On the date specified, red-headed hopefuls gathered in droves at the park specified in the advertisement. And from each person present, this pair took an application fee of 5 shillings. And with the money to France. It was a plan most elegant, no? No, it was most dishonorable. But to be frank, I'm stunned anybody was foolish enough to be taken in by such an obvious trick. The park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folk, like a coaster's orange barrow. And the day on which these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these 2 men spoke face to face with every single person present that day. I have seen more red-headed people in one day than I will see in the rest of my life. See, and now every time I see the capo's hair, I feel sick to my stomach. Oh, why did I gave him a weird accent? I think I gave him a French accent. What the heck did I just say? Anyway, why have we been summoned here today? Sorry? The date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told. Naturally, neither of these men have been told any details about this trial. They've only been shown this photograph. Very good. So, Mr. de Rousseau and Mr. de Racy, you will now give your formal testimony for the court on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph. Of course, we are always ready to help with the law. Even though they were the ones breaking it. We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on Lime Street that day. But I don't recall the man in this photograph. Eh, Capo? No, I don't remember him. Obviously, he is dead now, but I assure you, he was not in the park. Allora, this victim has nothing to do with us. You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place. You've given sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain? Oui, I am quite certain. We did not interview this man. Nobody looking like this came to the park. This I can promise. It must be noted that you have been arrested for a grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances. Uffa, with this attitude, we get nowhere, huh? He's really sulking now. This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records. No, that's not right. It records. Oops. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary dated the day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, Red-Headed League, undercover. I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park on the day in question, eh? That is ridiculous. There is no question that Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, which means it's quite possible that that's when he was killed. Very well, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination. Yes, my lord. Okay, you have more than 1,000 people. Don't recall. Okay. Like, are you sure? You're sure you didn't see him? But according to what you've said, you spoke with 1,000 or more people that day. Oui, that's true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day. Surely then, you can't actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present? Normally, the red hair is very distinctive, eh? But not when you have 1,000 redheads crowding around. Then it's just an eyesore. But if there was some other information you could give us, maybe we would recall. That is not the line, Peppino. Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure of that fact, huh? If there was a man with a red hairpiece, but his mustache did not match the color, then I do not think I could have forgotten him. Or him. Cosmo said these two had only been shown that photograph and they'd been told nothing else. But what if I fed them just one other detail about the victim? For example, his fish and chips? His fish and chips. I guess that, you know what if there's like other people? No, his yeah, do you know what he did? Did they ask that question, what he did for work? I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember the situation. But what if I told you that the man in the red hair piece was actually a detective? Is the man in the photograph a detective? Yes. It would appear he found your notice in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate incognito. Sorry, but this changes nothing. Something to add, Mr. De Rossi? Che? See, I'm always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper. What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's at last remark by any chance? What did he just to say? About the detective? Yes, that. Keep your mouth shut, Peppino. You have said enough already. But why, Capo? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I am an inspector from Scotland Yard. What? Good Lord. What are... Explain this volte-face in your testimony, witness. It's simple. A man who was at a park... I missed it. There was no such man. Madai, what are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten, eh? I have forgotten nothing. Nobody like this came to the park. Basta, Capo, basta. You beat me at many things, but not to the memory and the meals. Like I said, when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is a faster. But you are inferior to me in every other way, so shut up. Man, it could have been like a double objection. Trop-tard. What the heck? Trop-tard? The damage is done. Indeed it is, sir. Oui, there was a man who came to the park and said he said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. I don't know what accent I'm giving them. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else. How can you be sure? Because, to start with, his face was completely different. See, it's true. The man who came was a younger. His face was clean-shaven, his eyes were sadder, his chin was thinner. No resemblance whatsoever then. Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him, if you are really a detective, show us the proof. See, the capo here, he doesn't take no nonsense, eh? But he was well prepared. He said he had an identification. Or he had identification. Identification? You mean official police inspector's identification? That is most unconvincing. Sorry, my lord. Counsel, no incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's out of the question. Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity? Clearly, the papers were fake. Certo, Papa. You are... Capo, not Papa. Why did I think that? You are a genius. God, all this reading is just frying my brain. As we say in Italia, it takes a thief to recognize another, eh? And what happened after he announced that he was a detective? He became very annoying. He said, you are under investigation. So I took his papers from him. What? I feel like I keep giving him like weird, like Russian accent. His papers from him and chased him out of the park. It was fantastico. And look, here is the identification. So you stole it from the man? He had it a-coming. He made us very scared. But he was not who he said he was. Indeed, the person described does not appear to have behaved as a true inspector would. However, I believe it would be prudent for these identification papers to be entered into evidence. But I like them. Okay, let's check them then. I'm so sorry, I'm so bad at reading. Okay, who is this man? Who are you? Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it? Out of interest, what name is given? Probably just something plucked out of the air. It's Tobias Gregson. Wait, what? The Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me, but how? And the department and identification number and details are all correct as well. Since when have you known those? Do you mean to say? I know it seems incredible, but yes. I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. But that's unbelievable. This is the real thing after all? But he was not at the park, but this technically was him because the identification was right, I think. I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade? Why Miss Lestrade? What is your intention here, counsel? Is this really a fake or is it genuine? That's the question, which we can't answer ourselves. Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen. That is the boss's. No question about it. It can't be. As I suspected, the undercover detective who attended the Red-Headed League's enrollment on the day in question was the real Inspector Gregson, carrying out an incognito investigation. Zoot lord. Order. But if the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always on at me about it. If you lose something, report it at once, he'd say. Could it be then that the inspector was physically unable to report it? Physically? Hey, what are you saying? Unable to? You're not suggesting. Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had the chance to report his identification stolen. No. Order. The defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that? I know nothing. I done nothing. Pull yourself together, Peppino. Mon Dieu, you can behave a little more like a master criminal than that, non? Now I wish I had returned to Italia. Stop crying, Peppino, please. Otherwise, I don't know what that means. Stop your whining and start talking. Well, I believe the court will need to hear your story in greater detail. I know nothing. I done nothing. But you will tell everything or face the worst possible outcome. Oh. You will dry your eyes and testify again. Okay, about these identification papers and the precise circumstances under which you came by them. For crying out loud. The truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case. We took the man's identification from him and shut him in the room next to ours. There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm, and the next morning we let him go. He spent the night in a nice room. It was nothing like prison, really. This is outrageous. You imprisoned the man? But no, it was nothing like a prison. He was a very comfortable and a calm and a happy. Aye, Capo? It was never part of my plan, I swear. Uffa. So you think it was my fault, eh? Just because I got the date of the ferry wrong by a little a day. I do not think it was your fault, Peppino. I know that. No. Per favor, Capo. It's not affair. You shall have plenty of time for squabbling back at the prison, gentlemen. I don't believe this. How could he have been a real detective? Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination. So on the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in this pair's hideout. Okay, you took him prisoner, Jesus Christ. Do you realize what you're saying? You have to believe me, I never intended for that to happen, and I'm sure the detective did not intend it either. Do you think? But there was nothing else I could do. See, nothing else. This was our first crime for the capo. He was at the end of his wits. I have told you before, Peppino, that is not the way to describe a criminal mastermind. What about this hideout of yours? An old empty house behind the park on Lime Street. We rented the place for 2 days. It was an inspired idea by the capo here. An impulsive idea, I would say. No, not impulsive, inspired. Eh, capo? What am I supposed to say to that? Peppino. And it was in the house described that you confined Inspector Gregson, was it? But you have to remember, I was under the impression that he was a pretender, not a real inspector. That doesn't quite add up, though. If you didn't think the man was a real inspector, there would have been no reason to take him prisoner, would there? No, you are right, but we couldn't be completely certain. Too scared? Why? Because why had he come to the park? We didn't know. There was a chance that he had seen through my plan. And if that was the case, he would go straight to the police station to blow the whistle on us. Even if he was just feigning to be an inspector, he was up to no good, huh? Without a doubt. I think most people would agree that it's you two who were up to no good. Well, see, you may be right. Eh, Capo? The point is, we were not able to escape from England immediately. That is why we had no choice but to take the man prisoner. What I don't understand is why the inspector felt the need to show you his identification in the first place. See, I asked myself the same question. We were writing down the names and addresses of all the people who took 5 shillings, or we took 5 shillings from that day. I've forgotten what name he said, but the address, it startled me. See, address, Scotland Yard, Homicide Division, he said. What? He probably didn't like your face, Peppino. Anyway, I was not rude. I just politely asked him why he had said it. And that's when he started to say he was an inspector. Not long afterwards, he took out his identification. What was Inspector Gregson playing at? Tell the court what happened next. You took him back to your hideout, you say. See, we did. We took the man's identification, shutting the room next to ours. That being his identification book here, correct? See, that is the one. What made you believe that it was a forgery? I never seen a real one, of course. But he was so suspicious, this a man. Allora, I was a thinking he must be falso. Eh, Capo? It is just as Peppino said, we were convinced it was not genuine. And so together, the hilarious brothers, we took the man captive. All we did was shove him inside a locked room. Then we made preparations to transfer all of the money. In for a penny, in for a pound. Okay, that's so weird though. How would he not? Like, okay, so they fought. Somehow there was a fight. And then they let him go? What do you mean by a little tussle exactly? It was nothing. Just a minor incident. The falso inspector, he was a real piece of the work. Hey, Capo? What happened? It was a disaster. We gave him a nice room, and what does he do? In the middle of the night, he tries to escape through the ventilator. Can you blame him? We chased him, bien sir, and we caught him again. Can you blame us? Wait, you didn't shoot the man in your haste, did you? Zut, who do you think we are? Of course not. I simply caught hold of him and took him back to the room. Mr. De Rossi, is something wrong? Me? Something Mr. De Rosso just said seemed to make you, well, it seemed to make you act even more strangely than usual. What was that all about? Cavallo, at times like that, you don't want to leave the capo after you, believe me. And I speak from a personal esperanza. Personal experience? That is enough, Peppino. There is no need to say more. The truth is, the night before we put the Red-Headed League plan into action, I was scared. It was not fair to the capo, but I tried to run away. It's a shame you didn't manage it. But the capo here, he came after me like the turbine, and he dragged me back to the house, kicking and screaming. I still have the bruises to prove it. Eh, capo? Bruises, you say? You want to see, You want to see my fantastical bruises? That's enough now, Peppino. No one wants to look at any part of you. What to do, I show you or I don't. I show you or I don't. You do, now. Laura, if everybody wants to see, then I do it. Echo, you see? It is still very visible, eh? That red ring around your neck? You got that when you were dragged back to the house? See, the capo, sometimes he is a very rough. I said, that's enough. Peppino's neck has nothing to do with what you are talking about here, or what we are talking about here. You have my word. Yes. What is your opinion, counsel? About this red ring around Mr. De Rossi's neck? Does it matter? It's important. Mr. De Rossi, I'm going to have to ask you to amend your testimony with details about that mark on your neck. Aye, Capo, you see, everyone is interested in what I say, Very well, you will amend your statement, or your testimony as requested, Mr. De Rossi. See, if you really want to know. I think it's mainly how it's written. It's kind of written how, like, Dragon Quest writes it, where it's like written in an accent. Okay, he tried to escape, but the capo put the collar on him and dragged him back, like what he did to me. Is that true? Does he have a mark? Can you see a mark? It doesn't look like, I mean, I feel like it would be way more visible. So if I can't see it, then I'm going to assume he doesn't have. So the day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito. No, it was not like that. It was hardly a prison. It was an invitation to stay. It was only... However you describe it, there's one glaring inconsistency that remains. What inconsistency is this, counsel? I would ask the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim, Inspector Gregson. You will see... Oh, like that part of I thought it was like the front part, the front part of the neck. You will see that there's no red ring visible around his neck. But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar off the man in the morning. And I saw the red bruises on his neck. Oh, the other guy had red bruises, right? Like didn't we mention like, oh, his neck is like kind of red or whatever? So they took the other guy? Oh God, the other guy's sus as fuck. And I saw the red bruises on his neck, just like I have. Given that the mark is still clearly visible on this witness's neck, we'd expect to see bruising on the victim who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. De Rossi. Indeed, that is most peculiar. But what we tell you, huh? We say this from the beginning, many times. Oui, Peppino is right. The man in the photograph. He is someone different to the men we held captives at night. Order! It would appear then that on the day before the incident, a man who visited the park on Lime Street posing as an incognito inspector was not Inspector Gregson. If that's true, however, how do you explain the inspector's identification? This is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. It's inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector. The prosecution made that assertion itself. And we also know that the inspector had made a note about the Red-Headed League in his diary for that day, which surely means we can't divorce the two events completely. The inconsistency noted by the defense is most troubling. If it were the real Inspector Gregson whom these two red-headed gentlemen encountered, the fact that no bruising can be seen around his neck defies explanation. But equally, if they actually encountered an imposter, how did that person come to be in possession of the real inspector's identification? Does the defense have some plausible explanation, counsel? The whole thing defies explanation. It is for precisely these occasions that we keep meticulous notes in the court record, because those are the facts, and the facts cannot lie. No, the facts can't lie. Even when they point to something so incredible, it's almost I think it was that other guy, the big-lipped dude. I think it was that guy, because he had, like, marks on his neck. Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned up in the park for the Red-Headed League's enrollment is revealed by information in the court record. Good gracious. Very tantalizing, Mr. Naruhodo. So why don't you help us all to see whatever the truth is that you've apparently seen? Who exactly? An imposter. Though it seems incredible, I admit, the undeniable facts point to only one thing. Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person who these two red-headed men took prisoner that day cannot have been Inspector Gregson. In other words, your whole argument up to now has been a waste of time. On the contrary, I haven't finished. What? There's no bruising on the victim's neck, so the question immediately posed next is, who exactly was this man in the park on Lime Street found to be carrying Inspector Gregson's identification? See, that's alright. We tell the same story every time. Whoever this man was, the capo dragged him from a pillar to a post with the dog collar. Mon Dieu, Peppino, I was not so harsh as you say, huh? So who is that falso inspector, eh? Who was he? Clearly, the defense has an idea about that. About the true identity of the man these two imprisoned that night. I must ask the counsel for the defense to elaborate post-haste. Who did they... It was, this guy. He even has it in his profile. He has a freaking bruise. Goodness me, isn't that one of the witnesses who was in the stand in this very courtroom earlier today? A nameless man whose only occupation appears to be peddling hearsay to passersby. What on earth would a street seller be doing with a police inspector's identification papers? Witness, is this the man or not? What has happened to his lip? Huh? See, this man is not for the Red-Headed League, eh? He's looking for the Twisted Lip League, no? Perhaps rather than making such a rash claim next time, you should bite your lip instead. It seems improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noted something around the man's neck. A red ring of bruising. Eh? What? The defense demands that Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand. Order! Bring the aforementioned witness back into the courtroom immediately. Well, I never. An undeniable ring of bruising indeed, and identical to that of the witness beside him. Now what's going on here, eh? I've always had this, me. It's a birthmark, isn't it? A birthmark, you say? I assume the reason you've been recalled to the stand has been explained to you? Aye, somewhat about an inspector again? But I'm telling you, you've got it all wrong as usual. You're denying all knowledge of it? Well, of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with all this nonsense, eh? Well, at least you'll have more stories to peddle back on Fresno Street, won't you? Now, we're going to need you to testify again. And you, Mr. DeRusso and Mr. DeRossi, I'm sure you'll cooperate, won't you? Do we have any choice? We are in bigger trouble, eh, Capo? That's quite enough dilatory chatter, and proceed with the testimony. The man who claimed to be an inspector that day was definitely not this man. Is right, see, you think we would forget these grand lips, huh? I never leave Fresno Street, all right? I have no interest in any red-headed league. I'm all alone in the world, me. I have no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I could carry off a disguise with a face like this? I mean, maybe the busted lip was like he got beat up or something. He does kind of look like the whatever. He kind of looks like this guy. Like, does he not kind of look like this guy? It would certainly appear that we have the wrong man. What have I been telling you, huh? There was no need for this pointless testimony. That's right, I'm just a simple peddler, remember? Fresno Street's all I know. How would I have come by a police inspector's identification book, eh? Well, yes, that's hard to explain, but... A brief cross-examination, I think, counsel. Very brief. Is there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be on to something? I stand steadfastly at your side as always. It couldn't be him because, I mean, they're just going to say, like, oh, he doesn't have red hair and he got these big, big lip. Or, I don't know, I guess maybe big lips. So, you'd heard of the Red-Headed League, had you? You don't get a name like Gossip for nothing, eh? It's my business to know what's going off in town. I sold that nasty titbit a fair few redheads that came past me. Just between us, I even got Sandwich to cough up for it. Well, he does have a very red nose, if that counts. Who knows? But as you can see, my own hair's not got a hint of red in it. And in any case, Fresno Street's my patch. You won't catch me sidling off to some other part of town. No, sir, not likely. Mr. DeRusso. Oui? Can I help you? Did Mr. Gossip's words just now lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps? It was the other day when I was looking for a place near the park, a small house or something. To be the headquarters of your red-headed league, yes? I visited an housing agent on Lime Street and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent. What? Mr. Gossip with a housing agent? He had some kind of contract in his hand and they were clearly discussing terms. But no, you're mistaken, chum. I've never left Fresno Street, me. Like I said before, you're mistaking me for someone else. Someone with the same face. No, the capo is right. I remember it too. He was paying the man with the banknotes. With notes? Like I said, that wasn't me. I was curious why this man with the dirty clothes had so much money. So I looked at the name on the papers. And what name was written? Mr. Gossip? No. This man, he lies. He tells you that he has no name. But in fact, his name is Hugh Boone. Huh? He's better than Mr. Gossip, I think, see? No. Also, he owns that house. I'm a peddler of tidbits of information, like I said, on Fresno Street, and that's that. I don't much like folk talking about my personal life. Indeed. And it is not the intention of the court to invade the privacy of witnesses. Very well, I shall respect your wishes, sir. The aforementioned name shall be redacted from all court records of this trial, assuming no objection. No, it's important. He owns that house. I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to this case. Good gracious. Do you similarly object, Prosecutor Asogi? As it happens, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings. Well, I never. In what capacity? Hugh Boone, the name of the leaseholder of the room. Let me put this very simply. The victim's body was discovered in your rented room. I suggest, sir, that you start talking. Well, all right. I suppose that might be the case. So your real name is Hugh Boone? Well, just between us, I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but there's no finer peddler of tidbits in town. So I happen to be able to afford a grubby little room in a falling down backstreet townhouse. You do? And once every 6 months, I go and pay the rent to the agent on Lime Street. I remember now. There were 2 vulgar redheads in there last time. If either of us is a vulgar, it's not me. Sink again, Peppino. Why didn't you bring this up before? It's like I told you already. I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a tidbit peddler as far as everyone else is concerned. No fuss. You will update your testimony to include this most surprising revelation, Mr. Boone. If I must. So the leaseholder Scotland Yard has been looking for since the body was discovered has been here under our noses all along. I'm all alone. It's true. He has this photo. It must be him. He looks like this guy. Does he not look like this guy? He has the same like swoopy curls and everything. So hello, this is your wife. This is your wife. If you have no kinfolk, as you put it, then explain why is it that among the sparse furnishings we found this photograph? I presume, as you've been renting the room, that this photograph belongs to you, does it not? Oh, well... Mr. Boone, drop the pretense and tell the court exactly who you really are. I don't know what you mean. I'm a peddler. I keep telling you so. You really don't need to bother with me. please, just leave me alone. As the man says, leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life has no bearing on this case. Because it's simply not possible that he impersonated Inspector Gregson. How can you be so sure? Just look at the man. No amount of disguise could ever hide those unmissable features. But what if we were to look at this the other way around? What do you mean? Yes, counsel, what do you mean? Well, there's no denying that Mr. Boone's lip is very prominent indeed. But consider the possibility that his prominent lip is itself part of an elaborate disguise. Man, that'd be crazy. Then hiding that prominent feature, in other words, revealing his true face, would make an utterly impenetrable disguise. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hugh Boone? So like he's gonna like rip the mask off like a Scooby-Doo villain? But a witness, are you still hiding the truth from this court? If that's a disguise, then underneath it, his true identity must be... Yes, that's right. There's really only one person he could really be. My lord, the defense believes it can reveal Mr. Boone's true identity to the court. No, please, no. Very well then, counsel. What is the true identity? He is this guy. Your real name is actually Mr. Vigil, isn't it? Mr. Daily Vigil. I don't recall that name, counsel. Who is this Mr. Vigil? It's a name I encountered yesterday, my lord. It has to do with a certain client of Mr. Herlock Sholmes. A young gentlewoman came to the detective asking him to locate her missing husband. The woman in this photograph, in fact. This is Mrs. Vigil. What? From what I understand, you haven't returned home since the night before the inspector was found dead. But of course, on that night, you were being held captive by the two red-headed gentlemen, or whatever. And last night you were put up by the prosecution service in preparation for testifying in this trial. Because we'd been led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich were all homeless. Being important witnesses in this case, we needed to know where we could find you, of course. And that explains why you've not only been unable to return home, but also unable to contact your wife, who's been beside herself with worry waiting for you at the Vigil residence. Now, just hold on a minute. I don't have the first idea what I'm talking about, really? It's a simple enough matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off that disguise. No, please. Bailiff, bring soap, a sponge, and a wash bowl at once. Mr. de Rousseau and Mr. de Rossi, you will restrain the witness. Oui, my lord. Si, my lord. No, stop. Get off, please. Don't. Even the lip. How did he get the lip to like stay? Maybe it's like it was like a mustache, like a fake mustache. Well, we are now seeing your true features, I presume. Lift your head, sir, so the court can see your face. It would appear that the defense counsel's assertion was entirely correct. This has all been a very elaborate deception. So, witness, tell the court. Have you seen this man before? I don't believe it, but... See, there is a no question. This is the inspector we saw in the park. Extraordinary. On the day of the Red-Headed League enrollment, the man claiming to be Inspector Gregson who appeared before Mr. de Rousseau and Mr. de Rossi in the park was you disguised as the inspector, or rather, was you posing as the inspector in no disguise at all. Mr. Vigil was formerly employed as the chief warder at Barclay Prison. The chief warder? Then your career had promise. Why would you quite possibly have become... You would quite possibly have become the future governor of the prison. What on earth have you been doing peddling tittle-tattle on Fresno Street? Oh, I misread that sentence. Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vigil worked at the prison. 10 years? I'm really dreadfully sorry about all this. Yes, it's true. I am Daily Vigil. And you were the chief warder at Barclay Prison 10 years ago? So, where did Mr. Hugh Boone come from? Boone is the other me. It's a name I invented. Well, evidently there is a great deal under the surface here. I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become. As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment as Barclay's chief warder came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage, but times were hard in London and I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation one day, I turned my hand at selling wares on Fresno Street. But your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you are the chief warder at Barclay Prison. I was utterly determined that my wife should not know of my failings, which is why I never told her. I opened an account at the bank under the name of Hugh Boone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street. The scene of the very crime we're investigating. Yes, that's right. A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid peddler, and transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became my daily routine. I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room, but that explains it. But why on earth didn't you just tell us this in the first place? I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons, and without wishing to sound so self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them. So instead, you decided to conceal your occupation from them? Yes. I've made such a terrible mess of everything. Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many tidbits of information you could sell as a passing gentleman, even at 6p apiece, you couldn't hope to match the salary you must have commanded as chief warder at the prison. Very true. To have kept your family in comfort despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment. That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson. What? Inspector Gregson? What? It was some years after I'd invented Boone and begun my other life as a street seller. He, the inspector, that is, recognized me one day. Do you mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours? I knew him from my time working at the prison. When he saw what I'd become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family, and from that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. Then one day, he asked me if I would carry out a secret assignment for him. A secret? What was it? I was to impersonate the inspector. What? Impersonate him? We always met in that little room so the inspector could brief me. Visit Orsi's tomorrow and take a statement from the proprietress. It was always something along those lines, surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. My instructions were to make an impression, to let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work. And for those services, he compensated me financially. A Scotland Yard inspector willingly relinquished his identification into your care with intent to deceive? That, as I'm sure I need to point out, is a very serious criminal offense. But why? What was the point of you impersonating him? I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector warned me on numerous occasions. Now remember, Vigil, I need your solemn word. Don't blab about this to anyone, all right? Ever. Even if I end up a croaker. In time, he started to bring papers with him to the room as well. It became something of a second office for him. So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Lime Street was really... Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my Boone disguise. And then I went as instructed to the park, armed with the inspector's identification book. It never occurred to me that the bruise on my neck might give me away. Well, it would seem this confession completely destroys the defense's case. Explain yourself, Prosecutor Asogi. My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed at another location on the day before his corpse was discovered, at the hands of these two red-headed league gentlemen when they imprisoned the inspector. But no, that can't be. After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day. It was me. Oh, goodness. Finally, we have clarity. I mean, I don't remember, accusing these guys of killing him. We had nothing to do with the murder of the inspector. And merci, Monsieur de la Défense, for proving it. But I mean, we could always say it wasn't them, it was somebody else. Indeed, it would appear that we have reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. These witnesses have no involvement in the murder of the victim, as proven somewhat ironically by the defense. I hereby call an end to the cross-examination. Pardon me, my lord, but with your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness. Kazuma? What question, counsel? It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you would have been present at a very significant execution that was carried out at the time. 10 years ago? The execution of the professor, Genshin Asogi. I want to know exactly what your involvement was. Oh, answer me, man. One moment, counsel. Is this related to the current case? Naturally. It is the prosecution's belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked. Does the defense concur? You're not yourself. You're not as calm and collected as usual. Poor Kazuma. No wonder he's acting this way. Mr. Vigil's memories of what happened 10 years ago would tell the tale of Genshin Asogi's last moments. His own father. I know, I do understand that, but even so. Prosecutor Asogi, do you genuinely believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Gregson's death? I need you to trust me, please. Very well. Then the defense has no objection. I see. In that case, you will answer the question, witness. Well, the truth is, I remember very little of that time. You've forgotten? I'm sorry to say, yes. As I said, I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. But for some peculiar reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy. Does that not strike you as strange? Sorry? Well, 10 years is a long time, but to have forgotten the reason why he left such an important job? Yeah, you're right. And not only that, Mr. Vigil's claim contradicts what we already know. The human spirit is a fragile thing. It's broken all too easily, which is why we have a tendency to wrap it up for protection. Sorry? The human spirit? I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean. When we experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, we block it out, obliterate it from our memories, seal it away. But it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface. And when they do, that fragile spirit may finally be crushed. But I really don't... But if it must be crushed, then so be it, because the truth will not stay buried. It's coming out, one way or another. Right, now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He means to expose the truth at any cost. Perhaps, if I pointed out the contradiction in what Mr. Vigil claimed earlier, it might cause some crucial memories to return to him. But should I? Should I present the evidence or not? Probably. I have no idea how this is going to go, but this is a court of law, and I have a duty to pursue the truth. Mr. Vigil, I'd like you to look at this. Evidence that clearly contradicts... Yeah, he left on his own accord. Or no, he left... Oh, he got fired. I thought he left on... Oh, never mind. Yeah, he got fired. I forgot. I thought he just left. Maybe that's what it was explained, but then nobody really explained why he left. But they were like, oh, he was just dismissed one day, I guess. Okay, yeah, he was fired. He didn't leave of his own accord. Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. Well, yes. In other words, you claim to have left the post of chief warder on your own volition. Well, yes, of course. Why? Tell me. Do you remember seeing this document before? No, I don't. This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member's employment. A dismissal notice? And the name on the notice is yours, Mr. Vigil. What? What? It's mine? So you didn't resign from the prison service at all? For some reason, you were dismissed as chief warder from Barclay. No, there's been some mistake. I'm sure. I'm sure I tendered my resignation. This dismissal notice is nonsense. Isn't it? If you were forcibly dismissed, there must have been a good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Vigil, it's time to break the seal and have you remember. According to the few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was on the 17th of June 10 years ago, and on that day something very serious took place at Barclay Prison. The 17th of June? Was that the professor's execution? Professor? As you were the chief warder at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings. It does sound familiar. And yet, that execution never took place. The convict, ostensibly executed earlier that day, later re-emerged from his grave. The convict came back to life. In the cemetery in the middle of the night, there was a witness. However, the witness claims that a moment after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave, a gunshot rang out from over his shoulder, and the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments. Yes. Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head, somewhere deep down. Well, Chief Warder Daily Vigil, I know there are memories in your head that can explain what happened on the 17th June 10 years ago. And now it's time for you to drag them up. Mr. Vigil? Yes, the whole prison, it was complete chaos. The prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. The shocking news ripped through Barclay like a hurricane. What? Order! Did you mean to say, Mr. Vigil, that your memories of the time have returned? My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, the screams. Oh my goodness. The papers. There were reports, articles about a man who'd seen a ghost. Yes, Enoch Drebber. But surely those reports were exaggerated. There were traces at the scene. Traces of what? In Lowgate Cemetery, at plot number 139. Blood. Lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously, something terrible had happened there. The depths of conspiracy and depravity from which this tale is emerging are quite staggering. I've reviewed the police reports of that time extensively. A thorough investigation was conducted by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. And the conclusion reached by the investigation team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved. Are you suggesting that a prison warder abetted the man's bid for freedom? Yes, and I was suspected of doing it, of using that mass murderer's execution as a way to help him escape. You did what? I remember now. The horror of it all is coming back to me. One evening, a few days after the execution, some detectives came to the prison. I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower. I'm sorry, Daly, this is a serious business, but I cannot help you now. I cannot help you new. As chief warder, you are responsible for overseeing the execution of 4, eh? Well, it seems the fellas at Scotland Yard want to have a few wee words with you about it. You better pack your things, laddie. You're to attend in person. As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank. And the next thing I knew, the professor, the most hated killer in our country's history. And I let him escape. I'm finished. My life is over. Order! Bailiff, fetch a doctor at once! court is adjourned for today with immediate effect.
ミテルモン氏は意識を失い、その日の審理は中断された。またしても呪いのように浮かび上がる殺人鬼の影。バンジークス卿、ミテルモン氏、アソーギ、そしてグレグソン刑事。彼らを縛りつける重い鎖は過去からの闇を引きずっている。そこに光をもたらす奇跡はもうそこまで迫っていた。
Oh my god, what the It always comes back to something that happened so many years ago.